Good afternoon, medical.
Doctor's office.
Hello, Dr. Savish.
Press 1 for appointments. Press 2 for prescription refills.
Good afternoon, doctor's office.
Doctor's office.
If you need a same-day sick appointment or you prefer to schedule your non-urgent routine appointment now, press 2.
Dr. Gordon's office, please hold.
Whoa.
Well, hello there, my friends, and welcome to a new live and very special episode of From Patients to Superfans webinar edition, where we dive into how to create amazing customer experiences your patients will rave about. My name is Matteo Trisolini. I help healthcare companies and teams start their customer experience revolution by turning their patients into brand ambassadors. If you're tuning in tonight, if you're watching this or the live show or the recorded show, then you know that I'm about to share with you 5 easy steps for you to take right away to build or rebuild an amazing customer experience that will turn your patients into raving fans. But before we get into part 2 of this free webinar, I want to make sure we are on the same page. And I want to tell you why it is so important for us in healthcare to spend time and energy and money into creating amazing moments for our patients. I hear you loud and clear, my friends. Why should we do all this? Why should we invest so much money, time, and energy, and put so much attention to an aspect that it doesn't seem to be that important? Because at the end of the day, we are getting paid by procedure or encounters, right? I hear you loud and clear, my friend. But listen, if 2020 has taught us any lessons, hopefully it's that we in the healthcare business, we are businesses. And as such, we need to find a differentiator that is going to set us apart from everybody else. And my friend, I do believe that this differentiator is customer experience. And so on a personal and professional level also, I want you to be proud of what you do. You have built a business, and I want you to be proud of how you do what you do so well. I want to actually push you to do what you do so well for a higher purpose than just showing up at work, and working so hard for 8 hours. I want you to do all of this for a greater purpose. And so today we are going to move on and conclude and go to part 2 of the live webinar about creating amazing telephone experiences. And I want to, let me share this a little bigger. There you go. So I want to start with reminding you what you will learn in this webinar. In part 1 last week, we talked about the roadblocks. We pinpointed the reasons why you and your team are not able to deliver those amazing moments. And today, in part 2, we are going to transform your current experience. We are going to create and build together a telephone experience. My friend, you are going to learn today the secret sauce to creating amazing and memorable moments. And once you're able to create those moments, you're going to see how easy it's going to be for you to turn your patients into raving fans. My friends, today you are going to rewrite your future. You're going to revamp your brand. And my friend, you're going to let your patients do the marketing work for you. And so let's go to building your structure, module 3. And I just want to remind you that a few things should have happened at this point for you to be able to make sense of what I'm about to show you in this webinar. In module 1 and 2, which we talked about last Tuesday. And if you weren't able to watch the show last Tuesday, you can easily watch the entire webinar. Anytime you want, you can download the pre-recorded version of this webinar by just clicking on the link below here that we're going to post in the comment section. We're also going to post it on the LinkedIn event page for everybody to watch. So at this point, in order for you to be successful at what we're going to accomplish today, you should have answered the 10 questions. When we dissected your current experience, you were asked 10 questions, and you're supposed to have the answers today. If you don't have that, don't worry. You can still watch today and then go back to either the recording last week or go find the recording by clicking on the link in the comment section. The other thing that needed to happen prior to today is that I had given you the assignment to create and write your customer experience purpose statement. I helped you out finding out what parameters to follow last week. Again, go watch that video or download the entire video here. So today in module 3, we are going together to make 5 key decisions to creating your experience. And each decision will have 2 components, a technical component and an experiential component. And so let's dive into the very first decision, which is the greeting. On the technical side, we are basically creating a standard greeting that everyone on the team is going to use to create their experience on the phone. Let's keep in mind that as we build this standard greeting that will be adopted by everybody, we need to also make sure that our team members are going to be able to make it their own. And I will explain in a little bit what I mean by that. So a few things about your greeting. Your new greeting must be short and must be clear. Your new greeting must state clearly the name of the office that the patients are calling. I know this sounds ridiculous to say. I know it sounds like, it's one-on-one. It is one-on-one. But if you have watched the video that I played at the beginning of this live show, then you will understand where we are right now. So doctor's office and click, it is not going to cut it. We need to make sure our teammates are spelling out what office the patient is calling. Again, also, we need to make sure our teammates are clearly stating their names. We need to know what their name is. They need to be spelled out in the greeting because this is your first chance to establish a relationship with the caller, with the patient. So you want to start by telling them what your name is. And of course, we need to make it clear during the greeting that we are here to help. And we can get creative with that. And I will explain to you what getting creative means, at least in my company. On the experiential side of this decision, number 1, the greeting, we need to decide what tone we are going to set. And what I mean is that when we start the phone call, just stating the name of the office and your name is not going to be sufficient to creating a relationship. We need to set the ambiance, right? We need to set the tone. So is it important for your office, for example, for your company to sound professional or to sound happy, to sound available, to sound excited, chirpy, I like to say? For example, in my company, yes, we are professional, but it is also important for us to make things personal. It is important to sound happy and ready to help. And I will explain in a second. My friend, the tone you're going to set for your telephone greeting is going to either lead to successes or to disasters. So let me tell you what we did in our company. Our greeting is very simple and very standard. All we say is, "Thank you for calling South Slope Pediatrics. This is Matteo. How may I help you today?" And let me explain. It's clear and it's short. It does say the name of the office right away. It does say my name. And I like to kind of spell it out because my name is a little difficult for some people to understand. And then the tone that we set. We have actually added the last word today, because we noticed that if we said, Thank you for calling South Slow Pediatrics. This is Mateo. How may I help you? It's kind of on the lower, it kind of goes down, right? And just adding that today, just bring it up a little notch, right? So then we got creative. This is what I mean about you can get creative. At one point, we actually had a little contest and we changed up our greeting. And I have here the 4 final versions of what we were supposed to say that week. And during that week, we didn't answer the usual way. We answered one of these 4 ways. And my most favorite one says, "Thank you for calling Saslu Pediatrics. This is Mateo. How can I sprinkle some sparkles on your day?" I can guarantee you that every time that we used this alternative greeting, we cracked up whoever was calling and we immediately created a little more fun for them. What this does, setting the tone, is helps the patient relax and know that we are here to listen and to help you. And now, decision number 2. Decision number 2 is about timing. And what I mean by that on the technical side is that we need to decide, listen up, how many times the phone is going to ring before we, team, are going to pick up that call. Let me say it one more time because it's important. Timing means we need to know and decide how many times the phone will ring before we will pick up, right? I urge you to be intentional on this. My company actually ran a study about it. We elect 2 SSP angels, we call them. SSP is the shorter for South Slow Pediatrics. So we have SSP angels. And when our friends, Carolina and Natalie, were serving on that committee, the angels basically are in charge of looking at our customer experience and how we deliver it and see if it still makes sense or if it needs to be updated, right? So that at that time, those 2 ladies decided to look into how we were delivering experiences via phone. And they ran a study. They actually started making prank calls to our own office. And they studied how many rings it took for us as an average to pick up the phone and be with the patient and ready to be helpful, right? But also they studied how many rings it takes for us to actually deliver the most amazing experience. Now, I know that number and I can't share it because I am pretty sure that it will not work for your company because every audience and every demographic is different, right? So this works for me. I'm in Brooklyn, New York, and I have this many rings for my phone to ring before I pick up the phone. If it goes too long, I know already I'm at a disadvantage when I pick up the phone. So I am serious about this. On the experiential side of this decision, we need to know our audience and we need to know them well. That's why I was telling you that what I found out works for my audience. For your audience would be something different. So I do want to urge you to go out there and start making prank phone calls to your own office and study your current experience. Figure out how long does it take. And what do we want to know? We want to know, for example, how many new patient calls do we get on a daily basis versus established patients calls, right? We want to know at the time that our team picks up that call, is the patient ready to formulate their thoughts and also to ask their questions? Are we ready at the time that we pick up? Are we, team, ready with our EMR right there and ready to help, to be helpful? And of course, the most important thing that we want to know is, when is the break-in moment? When is that moment where our patients lose their patience? I am sure you have made calls to other companies and you have been on hold for who knows how long, and you know what your break-in moment is. So I want you to find out about all of these experiential tools and stats in order to make this decision about timing. And again, it is very important. Decision number 3 is about our on-hold strategy, because my friend, it is not realistic to think that we are never going to put our patients on hold. No matter how good we are on the phones, it will happen. So on the technical side, basically, we need to remember one thing, first of all. According to statistics, 70% of customers complain about being put on hold for who knows how long and then being forgotten. So this is really important because this is a key element to our phone strategy. And so we need to decide, first of all, if a strategy for the on hold procedure is actually an option for us. My answer is yes. We have to have a strategy about it. We can't just be unintentional. We can't just improvise on this. I know that there are some places out there that they improvise on it, but this is not going to work. And then, so if we decide, yes, we need a strategy, then we need to understand when is the right time to put patients on hold. We're not going to put everybody on hold. Please don't put everybody on hold. And then again, if we do need a strategy, then how? How is this going to go down? What are we going to say exactly? And how is this strategy going to unfold? We're going to get to it in a second on the experiential side of this. And then again, if yes, how long can we leave them on hold for? And so, my friends, the experiential side of this decision is a very delicate one. You can understand it by now, right? So we need to decide what we are going to say exactly. For example, are we going to ask for permission before we put on hold? And I would suggest we do. It's always nice, isn't it? How long are we going to, how long is too long to keep them on hold, right? Once you put them on hold, you can't forget about them. How many times are we going to check in on them while they are on hold if this is taking a little longer? And what happens when they've been on hold for too long? What's the strategy then? Do we have a promise for them? And I'll explain in a second. And then if we do have a promise, if the wait is too long, let's say we can't get to the doctor, what do we do? Do we promise something? And once we promise, most importantly, how do we keep our promise and deliver on our promises? And so, my friend, we're here now at decision number 4, which is about rules. So if you are multitasking, please stop everything and come back to me because this is really important. On the technical side of this decision, all we're doing is we are laying the foundations. We're putting down the tracks that are going to function as guidelines for our team to be able to deliver an amazing experience. But as we lay down the tracks and we decide what the rules are, we need to keep in mind that we need to leave some freedom for our team to use their powers to break some of these rules so they can help the patient at the time that they need to do so. So we need to decide, first of all, if there are rules at all. If you are improvising, my friend, we might have a little problem. Okay, it's just not going to work. So if there are rules, let's define them, such as, how long they're going to be on the phone for, what we're going to say. But also, I want to go back to how important it is to understand for you that as we create rules, first of all, we shouldn't have too many rules. We should have a few rules that will function as guidelines for our team. At the same time, you need to create freedom and be specific about what powers our team can use within their freedom to deliver on their promises. On the experiential side of this, of course, of this decision, is one that breaks or makes companies. And here is why. if you trust me and create an environment where your team has the freedom to make decisions on the spot to help the patients according to the patient's needs and interests, and not to defend the company's bottom line, I can guarantee you, my friend, that you are setting your team and company up for success. I understand that this is a difficult concept to grasp. It's controversial. It is not usual to think that we need to put patients' interests before the company's bottom line when we are trying to stay in business. I can guarantee you that if your team takes care of the patient's interests first, your company will achieve longevity and will see an increase in revenue. And so with this, here we are at decision number 5. Now that our team has the freedom to make promises, right? They have the powers to make those promises. We need to make sure that we can deliver on these promises, correct? So again, two sides of this coin. On one side, we have the technical component for this decision, number 5. I truly believe that overpromising and under-delivering is what's causing your Google stars to fall really fast. I believe it's time to set a strategy to achieve the opposite, my friend. And so one way to be able for our team to technically be able to deliver on the promises is to set up a strategy and protocols for follow-ups. For example, your strategy should include creating tasks. And yes, we can use the EMR system. We can create a patient message or a patient encounter and write down what's happening and then hopefully remember to act on it. Or we can do something a little more. For example, in my company, we like to use additional technology to help us out delivering on promises. For example, it's very easy and really inexpensive because it costs zero. We, yes, for sure, open a message in the EMR. So let's, for example, say that a patient calls today and they want to inquire about lab results. They went to a lab on their own. We haven't received results, right? I find out, and now it's my time to use my powers and make a promise. So I promise the patient me, Matteo, will get those results from the lab. I'm going to call, I'm going to send an email, I'm going to go online on the portal, I'm going to send pigeons to go get those results for you. That's my promise. Then I'm going to also promise that I will call you once I get them, and I'm going to get the doctor to call you with the results to discuss them. Now, big promise. If I only rely on my EMR and I just put a message in the EMR, I can guarantee you that tomorrow morning, when I come back to work and I turn on my computer and I open my EMR, I will have 20 messages pushing this message down probably to page number 2 or 3, and I will probably forget. So what we do is, in my company, we simply created a task in the Google Calendar. We assign tasks to every team member, and every day we know that the first thing we're going to do in the morning is to look at the Google Calendar to see if I have a task. That way I know what I have to do. Even if my inbox now has 255 messages, although yesterday I only had 13 when I left the office. We also use other technology in the office to help us out. For example, we use Slack for communication. We use Weave, which is a telephone technology system that allows us to reach patients in very many different ways. One of them is text messages. And also we use Lattice for our productivity and teamwork. So on the experiential side of this, decision number 5, my friends, we need to just try to understand that wowing our patients requires 2 elements. Requires anticipating needs and exceeding expectations, which basically translates into under promising and over delivering. But now, this will not happen unless other things are in place in the work environment that we have created. In order for these two elements to work, anticipating needs and exceeding on expectations, then we need to make sure that we create an environment at work where there's accountability, where there's a big sense of urgency in getting things done. We need to spend time in making sure we create a team and family spirit so that we can all work together. And we need to make sure and put some effort into making sure our team understands what I call the success chain mentality, where everyone on the team understands that they are part of this success chain. They are one of the links. And if I, Matteo, today slack off a little bit, don't really care, drop the ball a few times and do nothing about it, eventually the whole team will suffer. And of course, eventually in the long term, the company's bottom line will suffer as well. And with this, my friends, I want to say thank you so much for joining me for this webinar into two parts. And of course, I want to invite you to also join our online communities on LinkedIn. We have an amazing group. It's called From Patients to Superfans. And also on Facebook, if you're not a LinkedIn person, the group is called the 5-Star Healthcare Customer Experience. I will see you all next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will talk about marketing for private practice. And of course, I will also see you this Friday for another 5-Minute Friday videos. We are going to talk about this Friday about why. Why should we do all of this and why you should do it too. Have a great evening.